Welcome, welcome, welcome. How was that? Right? All right, are you excited? Are you ready to meet some of the castaways? Let's bring them out. Let's bring out Kyle Fraser. What's up, Kyle? All right, all right, all right. Let's bring out Rizo Velovic.
Oh my gosh, there's a lot of people.
Are y'all ready for Cirie Fields? Kyle, you're here. Come on in.
Thank you.
Give me a double. Need a double from Cirie. And it gives me great pleasure and it's a great honor to introduce to you not only the executive producer of Survivor, but also the host, Jeff Probst. Give it up. Hey. All right.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, so this is exciting. What did you think of that episode?
Emily. Emily.
All right, this is really exciting. And so, do you know we're celebrating 50? This is like crazy.
Yeah.
This is, I can't, because I still remember the first season. And because we're at the Paley Museum, I looked up an interesting statistic. The season 1 finale, Jeff, you probably noticed, but maybe you don't. The season 1 finale of Survivor drew nearly 52 million viewers in the United States. That puts it up there with like the number of people who watched Elvis on the Ed Sullivan Show, right? Or it sits right below the season finale of Seinfeld, which had like 78 million.
Wow.
Right? So what's been fascinating to me, and I know to all of you, is that from the very first season of Survivor, it turned ordinary human instinct, trust, loyalty, betrayal, deception, into strategic currency. That's the thing that I've loved about this show, and I know that everybody else does. So I want to start, Jeff, because 50 seasons is an extraordinary milestone. And when you hear Survivor 50, as we just did, and we talk about the milestones, what goes through your mind? What are you thinking about?
Well, you know, I didn't really think about, I've never thought about season 20 or 30 or 40 in terms of anything other than another season of Survivor. But when we were doing 50, and we had a lot of press that were nice enough to come out, and people started asking me about me, like, you've been here for 25 years. And I was like, oh my God, you're right. That was the first time really it hit me. And really, I'm just, I'm proud of the show. We work really hard to make Survivor great. The Paley, by the way, the Paley, Rebecca from the Paley is the director here of this installation. Charles from the Paramount team. Scott Duncan, who is our DP, is here. Mackenzie's here. They designed this whole thing. And that, to me, is an example of how we try to do the show. We try to make it fantastic. They've said that's the best installation they've done. That really makes us proud. So I'm proud of the show. And when I look at these three, for example, 3 completely different types of humans.
Yes.
Right?
To say the least.
And yet, it's fun watching each of them for different reasons. And I know some people think I'm too corny about this, but I've always thought of Survivor as this human adventure, disguised in a game. But in watching them, we do see ourselves. When you see Cirie struggling on a balance beam, and you might see yourself literally, but what I saw out there, I still remember that moment, because what I saw is this is a person, but you're also representing a universal idea, which is, am I going to get up and try again, or am I just going to say, forget it, I give up? And that's what keeps me coming back. So when you say 50 seasons, I feel like we've had 50 seasons of watching human behavior, and I love it.
Well, so it's interesting that you say that. I'm a journalist, so of course, before I do anything, I do a lot of research, and there's a professor at Syracuse University who's written extensively about why a show like Survivor is so incredibly popular. It's exactly what you say, Jeff. He says that it's loved by millions because it transforms ordinary social behavior into some of those things that we talked about, but more importantly, for the viewers, you become armchair strategists. How many of you have sat watching the show and they go, I wouldn't have played that differently. I wouldn't have done that, right? But you don't know.
They come up to me and say, that was a terrible idea. Edge of Extinction sucks. You have too many idols all the time. But it is a sport.
That's
and
right.
It is fun to backseat drive.
Right.
That's what makes it fun.
That's what makes it fun. So before I move on to talking to the Castaways, the contestants, I want to ask you, after watching thousands of players across 50 seasons, what have you learned, you yourself, about human nature that surprises you most?
What have I learned? I've learned a lot. I think the thing that really sticks with me is that you are who you are at your core. And we're going to see that this season. All of these players come back, especially if it's somebody like Cirie or a coach or an Aussie who've played multiple times. You hear Coach say it. He'll say, well, this is Coach 4.0. And immediately you go,
Right, meaning, Jeff, that like you cannot escape who you are.
And I'll give you an example. We do a very deep dive psychologically with our players. They go through a lot of testing and spend a lot of time with our psychologists because we want to really know who they are. We don't care who you are. We just want to know. Kyle most likely in this situation would behave this way. So I took this test called I'm not supposed to say what it's called. I took this test. Many, many hours to take the test. And our psychologist, I sat down with her and she goes, okay, so you're a 4-5. She goes, you have 1 foot on the gas and then 1 foot on the brake. You claim your space and then you apologize. I go, oh my God, that's me. 10 years go by and I've been in therapy and I'm kind of working on myself. And I go, Liza, I want to take that test again. She goes, okay, take the test. And I go, so now how did I do? For real, she goes, Jeff, you're still a 4-5. I mean, you can change. She said you can change your behavior and become more aware of your tendencies, but you are who you are. So people that are controlling, they're going to be controlling on the show. People who play loosey-goosey like Rizzo does in life, he's going to play loosey-goosey on the show.
That's fascinating.
For real.
Yeah.
Kyle is a charming persuader. He can get you to do anything because he just smiles and goes, but Jeff, wouldn't it be fun?
I love it. All right, so Cirie, I want to start with you because you are one of the, would I be wrong in saying you're... one of the most beloved players to ever be in this franchise. And, it feels like Survivor was built around your persona, around the type of player, contestant that you are. What's it like for you stepping onto the beach for such a historic season?
Oh, wow. It's, first of all, an honor. Like, I would have died if Jeff didn't call. I would have died. So to be a part of a monumental season, I knew everyone, all of us knew what an epic season 50 was going to be. So the first thing I thought is, yes, I made the cut. Thank you. And then it was like, oh no, I made the cut. And look at all of these people here. They're going to be after me. It was just a mix of emotions, such gratitude and thanks for being there, but a lot of fear, feeling like I had a huge target on my back.
I mean, when you say that you feel you had a huge target on your back, break that down for me.
So I feel like my first season, Exile Island, season 12, nobody knew me, right? Even when they saw me play and make it to the Final Four, they still didn't really grasp who I was or how I played. But playing again and again and again, and like Jeff said, you can't really change who you are at your core, so I don't really change my style of play. So I felt like going in, everybody's like, we know to watch her. You know exactly what she's going to do. She's going to sweet talk you and make you think it's your idea, and we're going to get her. And I mean, they tried.
I love that. Riz, what was the moment you realized this is Survivor 50, this is different? I love how Jeff said, loosey-goosey.
Yeah.
But bro, 50.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny for me because maybe a calendar year ago, I probably would be in this audience right now like, oh my God, that's Jeff, Cirie, and Kyle. And my Survivor story is so quick because I've only been in the Survivor world for 1 year. And now here I am on a panel talking to you guys as a Survivor super fan, next to Jeff, next to Cirie, next to Kyle, as a player. I'm not a fan no more, you know? So for me to be on the beach and you see it in the premiere, I'm like, oh my God, I'm with legends. I see Colby and I have that moment with Colby and it almost felt full circle for me. So just being on Survivor 49, I was honored. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna make so many people proud. And you know, I ended up losing, but I was so proud of myself. And then the next day, Jeff's on his Zoom and he says, Rizzo, you know, we want you on 50. And I was like, me? Like, you got 20, you know, at that time I thought 20 spots, 49 seasons to represent, and you pick me? Like, I felt like the whole world on my shoulders, and I thought like, man, I can't wait to tell my girlfriend and my family. Like, they're gonna be so proud. And then I find myself 2 weeks later on the beach of 50, and Jeff is like, I want everything. And I'm like, you sure do? I'll give you everything. So I mean, it's been a surreal year for me.
Kyle, let me ask you, we were talking about this backstage a bit. How did Survivor, back to your original season, how did Survivor change your life? We talked a little bit about it backstage, but tell the audience.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the easy answer is always $1 million. And
That part.
yeah, that's been life-changing for my family and the security, obviously. But I don't think people realize this about me. I don't like asking for help. I've never really been an emotional person or ever tried to be vulnerable. It's something that I don't even try to do. But on Survivor, like Jeff said, you're kind of just laid bare out there, and at some point you have to be. And then you kind of realize the whole time that maybe you wanted to be vulnerable. Maybe you wanted to open up to people and let them know who you really are. And so I feel like my first season in a lot of ways forced me to be that, but going out back into the real world, marrying my best friend, you know, getting ready to have a little girl, it's reminded me.
Congratulations.
It's just sort of reminded me and been a great lesson on like what type of man I want to be, what type of person I want to be, and how much of myself I really want to show to people. And I think the scary thing is when you do that, you don't know if you're going to be accepted. But when you're living on an island with people who have no reason to like you, who are competing against you for this same $1 million and are going after their dream, when they actually do like you, I think that's sort of the best gift that you can get. So I just love this game and the person that it's like helping me to become.
Vlad, I gotta say, I've done a fair amount of panels on Survivor, and maybe it's fitting that we're at the Paley where it's about me. No, for real. I wish more people talked about Survivor like this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm constantly amazed at what I read when people spend their time on a podcast about Survivor, and all they do is, you know, sort of talk shit and say, oh, they, you know, that idol thing. What Kyle just said,
Yep.
You all three said it in your own ways, but that's what's fun about Survivor is Rizzo wants to play the game. He's a kid who grew up watching, he wants to play the game. The game is incredibly fun to play. I mean, you can pretty much do whatever you want. If you're clever enough, you can get away with it. Hiding an idol at tribal council like Vicky and Devin did. But what happens is, what Kyle said is, once you're out there, you realize there's something else happening. Mm-hmm. It is a real jungle. I am hungry. I am tired. I can't trust anyone. Even people who I think I can trust, I can't trust.
Right.
And you are laid bare and you figure out who you are. That's why it's fun to be a fan and you want to meet Cirie or Rizzo or whoever, because you know, wow, I've watched them and they're really cool, but what they are is you. Right. They're the same. She just got up off the couch and said, I'm going to do it. And it's the authenticity that you fall in love with. And that's why we invited the 24 that we invited back. And that's why we said we want everything. We want your blood, literally and figuratively.
Right. Well, it's this study of contradictions, right? Where people have to betray people that they may have alliances with to get to the end. And yet those same people ultimately decide who wins, right? I mean, and when you look at some of the best winners and when you think about why it's such a cultural juggernaut, Jeff, what goes through your mind? Why do you think, beyond just the fact that we look at it and we say that could be me, or what would I do in that situation, or maybe I find out the man who or the woman who I want to be in life in playing this game? In your mind, what makes it this cultural phenomenon?
I don't think people show up to have that experience. They want to play the game. And it is the format. It's kind of a boring answer, but the Survivor format is maybe it's the best unscripted format that I've ever come across. I'm so grateful it's the one that found me, because it is really fun to play. And you get to, I know it's simple to say this, but it's every life skill you have, you can use. They all have different life skills. I have a different set of life skills. If I played at this point in my life, I would play a very certain kind of game where I'm a 5-4 in my own version. But there's a lot, it's cinematic, it's great, incredible storytelling. I know I'm patting ourselves on the back, but that episode tonight, the way scenes are structured, things that people wouldn't know that aren't in television, but people who are in television, there's a sophistication to how the story is told, how you weave an interview with reality. When do you tell the audience this? Do you let them wonder why and then tell them? Or do you let Rizzo say, here's what I'm going to go do, and go watch him? So I think it's all of those things. Yeah. This just perfect storm that continues to work and engage.
She's going to hate that I say this, but my publicist, who was upstairs watching the episode, she'd never seen it before. And I came in from doing our little thing downstairs, and I walked into the room, and she was like, and I almost snapped a picture, because I was like, this is what and she's like, what is happening here? I have to start watching this, because it is simply that. And Jeff, you and I spoke about this, I don't know, a year ago or so, where you had a sense that this could be a thing. When this first landed with you, you knew, or you had an inclination.
There was a moment in the first day of the first season when I looked at some tape, because we were all, remember, Mark doesn't even know Mark Burnett, he'll tell you today, I didn't know what I was doing. I'm just trying to figure out how to learn to make a TV show at the same time you were. But we knew that there's something really primal and Lord of the Flies about it. And I saw a little piece of video, and the piece of video was Richard Hatch on the beach, and he had gotten up in the tree, and he was sitting in a power position, looking down at everybody as they're kind of walking around, looking up at him, and he was a corporate, communicator, and he had a way of doing things. He's like, we need to talk. We really need to talk. And everybody else is gathering wood or whatever. And at one point, Sue Hawk walks underneath him, and she goes, Richard, where I'm from, we work while we talk. And that simple moment was like, that's the show. Where I'm from, this is how we do it. So how are we going to get along? Because I don't like the way you do it. But we have to get along while conspiring against each other. And there's that Cirie smile.
Can I get the moment for you when you... All right, Rizzo, let me ask you. You grew up watching this. You're of the Survivor who grew up, of people who watched the show. You're in that generation. What was it for you that hooked you?
I'm on record saying this, and I said this during my casting process. The first episode I watched, I was an 8-year-old kid flipping through the channels, and JT from Survivor Tocantins, coach's first season, was doing a challenge, and he chipped his tooth because he was so in the moment. And Jeff picks up this tooth mid-competition, or after the immunity challenge, and says, JT, do you want your tooth back? And JT grabs it and flicks it. And from that moment, I was like, JT didn't even want money from the tooth fairy? What is this? And we're watching... I keep watching this episode, and this guy calls himself the Dragon Slayer, and he's doing this weird ass thing, and I'm like, what is going on? And then I watch the episode, and then they vote somebody out, and I'm like, I gotta figure out how to watch this.
Yeah.
And from that episode on, it was Thursday back in the day, but Thursday to then Wednesday, I watched Survivor, and people want to be firefighters. People want to be doctors. I said my dream to my family, who immigrated from Albania. They're not even American. I said, I want to be on this show. And they were like, whatever. All right. And I made it happen. So that's what it meant to me. And that's when I fell in love with the show.
Well, so that's really interesting, Jeff, because for you, Rizzo, it sounds like this is a thing that when you saw it, you immediately thought to yourself, what I'm watching is magical, and if I can be a part of it, I want to be. I mean, for you, Jeff, there are these cultural moments just like that, right? Yeah. Zeke being outed to Eva, inspiring others who have autism, that stand out to you over the course of all these seasons. Cirie in Game Changers, right? The balance beam, right? Everybody remembers that. Johnny Fairplay.
Yeah. Dead grandma line.
Right? What did Johnny lied about his grandma? Yeah. Villainized for it. Yeah. I mean, those are sort of the cultural phenomena, the cultural touchstones that have solidified Survivor's identity
Yeah.
in your mind.
Yeah.
What are some of the others?
Well, I mean, I think it's funny. Your list was really cool because, well, like Johnny Fairplay was villainized, was made a villain. I don't know, villainized a word?
Villainized, yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
Villainized for lying about his grandma. Rupert, in the same season, stole people's shoes. Their only pair of shoes.
And they loved him for it.
They loved him because he was a pirate and he had a gruff voice. And so, I mean, the list goes on. It's easy to point to things like, you know, Eva. I mean, it was really brave of Eva to come on and know that she might have to deal with her autism. And then she, you know, fortunately she has this great guy in Joe that's there. I mean, for me, I mean, that Cirie moment, I say it all the time, and it's not just because she's here. That moment, just to remind everyone, the challenge, what had happened from a production standpoint, you're only interested in the story. Where's the story? And in a challenge, out of 1,000 challenges, 999 times the story is who's winning. And then they're going to tribal council. Her tribe was out of it. Challenge was over. And I remember just as the host, they were out of it. It almost happened again this year.
Thanks for reminding me, Jeff.
But one of the great things about being the producer and the host is you don't have to ask permission for a moment. You know, on a different show, I might have had an earpiece and I might have had to whisper, hey, what about if we don't stop shooting? Instead, I was like, Cirie, we're not going anywhere. And that moment, for me, galvanized it because that's how our team works. I don't have to say anything to our director. I don't have to say anything to Duncan. I don't have to say anything. Everybody pivots. Boom. We got the shots of the win. Great. Close up. Boom. Wide shot. Roving three. Bring in the disc. Get the jib. Everybody. And then Cirie, is she going to do it or not? And then her tribe mates start to help her. And now you can hear David Vanacor's score. Like, oh my God, this is really happening. And then she fucking does it.
Yeah.
And she gets up there and like,
Yes.
that's a moment. And the reason it's a moment, we just made a video for a young woman, a 27-year-old Brittany, who went through a lot of stuff she had to deal with physically, and she's recovered. But one of the things, she sent this video, and one of the things she said was, it wasn't just the show, it was watching other people struggle that reminded me, I can do this. So I hope my answers don't sound repetitive.
No, I mean, it is exactly what this is all about. And this is why we're all here. This is why everybody is gathered here to hear from you, even if you've said it before.
Okay.
Right? So I want to ask you, Cirie, in that moment, you hear what Jeff is thinking in that moment. You know, you feel the love from the audience, but take me to that moment on that balance beam.
Oh my God, Vlad.
Yeah, I want to know. I mean, like, I know what you say when you're, but.
No, honestly, first of all, I was devastated that the world would see my failure. And then when Jeff offered me the opportunity to, he said verbatim, I could send a boat in for you right now, Cirie, or you can finish this. And then my mind went to, how could I not take this opportunity to show my children that no matter what, I would never give up, and I'm always going to try, not just for myself, but for them. And I have 3 boys, so I wanted them to see, yeah, we may not have won immunity or a reward, whatever it was. However, I'm always going to give what it takes, and I wanted them to know I expect the same thing out of you guys. I lead by example. And
Awesome.
And you know, Vlad, I say this to them all the time, and Cirie was the first time I've ever seen it happen in real time. I say all the time, you will probably not remember that move you made or that moment in a challenge 20 years from now. You'll never forget the moment. You just said it. I don't know if it was for reward or immunity. Right. You knew that day,
right.
But 20 years later, you don't remember. What you remember is the power of your 3 boys fueling you on to show them. That's kind of what I'm getting at. The game is the lure. The experience is the prize. But in order to get the experience, you got to play the game. The good news is the game's really fun.
Yeah. Kyle, let's talk about the being medevaced off the island. And you came on CBS Mornings to talk to us about it, and we were shocked because you'd won, and everybody was rooting for you again. And talk to me about what that felt like when you got that news that you had to go.
Yeah, in the moment that was really hard. I felt like not only was I feeling like I had some trajectory, I was doing well in the game, but that I got along with this tribe so well. Like I came back and I told Maggie, I felt like that tribe was handpicked for me to sort of like be a part of it. And
It was. We really did try.
yeah, but we just got along. I mean, if you look at the makeup of that tribe, it's just filled with characters and people who have no business being on a beach together, but we just got it from day one. And so when I talk to Jeff, you know, I do this thing where I have to convince myself that it's not real. And when it happened in the challenge and I couldn't put any weight on it and crumbled, and when we got back to camp and I taped we taped myself up and I was walking around, I was like, I got this, I can push through this. But I woke up in the middle of the night for a split second, I was in some pain, and I was like, this is gonna be it. But then I went back to sleep and I woke up and I told myself, I got this, and I built up that momentum again. And so it felt like it was such a wave of disappointment when I talked to Jeff. But then even when he was talking to me, I was trying to wiggle my toes and, you know, do all the things to stay in the game. So yeah, it was devastating in the moment, but I mean, there's been so many good lessons to come from it. And I think that the last thing I'll say on it is, and Jeff told me this when we were on the boat, when we were leaving the island, he was like, that was real. When everyone was crying, he was like, that was real. And I realized in that moment, like, not all Survivor players get that. You get your torch snuffed, and I want that, you know, I wanted that in the moment, but instead I got the validation that the people I was around actually cared about me. And I don't think that that's an experience that all Survivor players can say they get in the game, in the moment, when it's raw and when it's real. So, you know, that's a serious silver lining for me.
Yeah, silver lining.
Vlad, those are really, they're rare moments. I mean, we've only had, you know, I don't know, 20 evacuations or something, and all of them are different. But the one with Kyle, it's rare when it's not so urgent that you can't take a moment, but you are out of the game. And I do remember talking to Angelina, I think, and just saying, this is the part of the game that you just probably can never understand unless you're out there. That you said this collection of people that, you know, you'd never put together, but you've been living in a jungle. Not even that long, and already these bonds are so strong that he actually said, I can't remember if we left this in the episode, but you said, Jeff, I'm a lawyer. I will sign away my rights. I said, yeah, dude, I get it. We can't do that. Your foot is
I got
dangling.
you for a second, though. You were like,
It's a twist.
I know. Mine was going places. Well, so Jeff, that actually is a perfect segue to talk about something that you sort of sprinkled throughout our discussion this evening, which is you've shouted out people on the crew, people in production.
Yeah.
So let's talk about how the production of Survivor has evolved over 50 seasons. What innovations, creative or logistical, are you most proud of?
I love how you asked that because there's two sides to it. So creatively, at least for, you know, I'm the showrunner, but it's a really misleading title. It's a show team. I mean, every head of department, like Scott Duncan is here, I've mentioned him because he's one of the only people here, but like everything through the lens, Scott has touched in some way. Mm-hmm. And he has big ideas and small ideas. Sometimes they're exciting and they're the slow motion shots of somebody like, poof. And other times it's a simple little shot, but it fits part of our visual puzzle. So the three things for me when I was given the reins were, I wanted to make Survivor a family show. And I knew what that meant to me. I didn't exactly know how to get there, but I knew it started with the people we put on the show. I just said it to Kyle earlier. I said, you're a great representative for the show, because when you meet kids, they look up to you and you go, you could do it too. This knucklehead was 8 just like you. That kind of thing. We wanted to make it more cinematic, which Scott has had a massive hand in making it cinematic. It's one of the fun parts of being on the show is you look amazing on Survivor. And then the last part was what I've already beat to death was Joseph Campbell, which is this sort of guy who studied mythology. And
Man of 1,000 Faces.
Yeah, and so I broke down the game and put it together, and I just asked myself, if Joseph Campbell were doing Survivor, what stages is what? So that was from the storytelling side, and we give carte blanche to our team, whether it's Zach designing a tribal council or whether it's an editor saying, with his producer saying, we could do an Ocean's 11 bit on this right now. And you know, we do, what was the thing that, the Operation Italy, exactly. future player. But from
Do they pitch you? Do they pitch you these ideas, or they just say, "This is what we think we're going to"?
You don't have to pitch anything.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all got to ultimately approve it. I'm ultimately responsible to deliver the episode, but like Matt Van Wagen is my right hand. He's orchestrating all of these stories and everything. But the point is, if an editor has an idea, like the beginning of season 50, the first, the beginning of it is a really cool beginning. It took a while to find it, but it started with a really cool idea with two of our team who said, what if we start going this way and then we just go, and we just keep going back and back and back and back and back and back and back, and then we back through there. It was a really cool idea, and then you have to execute it, which we're pretty good at doing. But the other side that I always want to share with fans is the culture on Survivor it's unlike any show I've ever been to. I have lots of friends that work on shows, and I go visit them on their sets or whatever. And it's a set. It's fun, and there's people you may never see again. We've been together, some of us, 20 years. I mean, some of us, Duncan and I, 25 years, but a lot of people have been there for like 20 years. And what you would see, Vlad, if you came out there is, on any given day, 15 or 20 little kids running around that were born to people who work on the show. So our first AD, Riley Ranthfull, she's now like 40. She started when she was 18 as a dream teamer. She met a reality shooter. Dave, they had a baby, and he said, "You got the great job. Why don't you keep running Survivor? Because she runs Survivor, and I'll be the stay-at-camp dad." We have that all over the place. Parents running around, little kids. We have young crew members that are 8 years old, and they kind of help me get ready. It is so incredibly rewarding and satisfying to be a family that gets to make this super cool show that we love, and then get to see these cool, I like all these people too. It's not just you. That's why they were on the show. We're like, Kyle, he wants to do Survivor, so I just feel blessed. I can't believe it. And I don't think Survivor's going anywhere. The new bar is 50.
Oh yeah. So what's something about making this show, Jeff, and I'm going to ask, I want you guys to think about this because I'm going to ask you too. What's something about making this show that would genuinely surprise the people in this audience?
I'd be curious what you all would say. I think when people come visit, they're surprised at how big it is. Like on the beach, there's only a few people. Mm-hmm. It's very intimate. But when you come to a challenge, there's 30 cameras, plus all the little GoPros are everywhere. There's our entire art department there in case something goes wrong. There's all the producers. There's our marine team. If we're in the water, we're a gigantic crew. And the other thing I think that my friends are always is how real it is. Like they'll come to a challenge that took, 4 weeks to build, and we've tested it and modified it and tested it and rehearsed it and looked through the lens, everything, and then they show up. We're like, this is it. And it runs and it's over in 20 minutes. And my friends are like, that's it? I go, that's it. One and done. And then we tear it down and we start building something new. That part of Survivor, that authenticity is not found in a lot of other shows. They're kind of authentic, by design. But I mean, Survivor, there's no second takes. We didn't, if Cirie doesn't get up on the balance beam, she doesn't get up there. So I think even my mom, rest her beautiful soul, would always ask me, but you give a makeup, right? I go, Mom, you ask me this every year. No, there's no makeup. There's no bathroom. There's no toiletries. There's nothing. Get in the ocean and take a dump and get back in here.
Amazing. So that's so Cirie, what is something that people in the audience would find genuinely surprising about playing Survivor that we don't necessarily see when we're watching you on television?
I think the fact that you can do whatever you want.
Oh, yeah.
What do you mean?
Unlike other shows, the game is yours to play or not play. You can.
There's no producer trailing you around,
no one
telling you, hey,
what to do. There's no suggestions on what to do. If you want to sleep in camp all day, if you want to be a statue in camp, if you don't want to work in camp.
Oh, snap.
It's true.
I love it.
He's like, I embrace it.
Totally up to you. And that's what I find so inviting about Survivor. It's a torturous vacation because you can, if you want to go on the other side of the beach while these guys are strategizing to vote you out, it's totally your game to win or lose.
I love hearing that. That
Yeah, it's
warms
true.
my heart because
Yeah.
that's what we want is do whatever you want.
And people always ask me, they make you say that? Did they tell you to do that? And when I tell them, no, you do whatever you want.
Yeah.
They're like, really? Yeah.
That's awesome. Rizzo.
Yeah, I mean, to piggyback off Cirie in terms of the freedom, it's just so.
Sounds like you're doing a lot of piggybacking.
Yeah. Work smarter, not harder. But for me, I think, and I want to, piggyback off Kyle too. But it's something about Survivor that people don't really understand. And to contrary belief, I'm not that emotional in my everyday life. Like, I don't go around crying as much as I did on Survivor. But it's something about Survivor where the bonds that you make with people, because I spent 4 days with Kyle, but I probably know more about Kyle than I know about with a friendship that I've had with friends for over 10 years. And it's just, there's so much downtime to Survivor. Like, we only watch 90 minutes every single week, but like, half of that is a challenge, half of that is tribal. Like, we spend 24/7 with these people. So you get to know about Kyle's upbringing, you get to know about Kyle's family, you get to know about what makes Cirie Cirie, and the fans don't really see that. So when Kyle gets medevaced and I'm crying and I'm like, oh my God, I just felt like I lost my brother. It's not fake, it's genuine. And that's why the show's been around for 25 years. And that's why people build such great friendships. Like, I'm gonna, talk about my season. Savannah, Sophie, and I, we were basically a final three duo all the way to the end. And they're like sisters I've never had. I talk to them every single day. And that's nothing that you can get from anything else aside from Survivor, I think. So it's the genuine relationships you get by playing with the people you play with. I think it's the best thing about Survivor.
Love that. All right, Kyle. What's something that we might not know about what goes on behind the scenes, or maybe what we do see in front of the camera, but we don't know what it took to get there?
Yeah, I'm going to talk about Tribal Council because I've been emotional in all the other answers. So I think, one, there's a ton of storytelling that goes into Tribal Council that you're not even aware of. On my season, it looked like there were gourds everywhere, and we get to Tribal Council and there's all these things going on. And then some 6-7 months later, there's a whole story about how they created a little village at Tribal Council, and there's all this undercover storytelling going on within the show itself that I wasn't even aware of when I was out there. But I think from a game perspective, Tribal Council is such an art that I don't think people necessarily realize, because I obviously don't know how much Jeff knows, but he's asking questions that are still driving the story, getting at the tail of what's going on in real time at Tribal Council, and you have to answer him. There's no, it's like being in court and you have a bad argument and the judge is trying to pin you down. You got to bob and weave. And especially in a game like mine where I'm playing with Camilla and no one else is supposed to know, but he knows, right? How do we get through every single Tribal Council where he's asking pointed questions about the game and relationships and everything like that without being coy, without being sly? And I think that that's an art that people don't necessarily get or doesn't come through as well in the TV perspective. But I think it's a fun part of the game, but at the same time, it's also the scariest part of the game, because one misstep, just like out there on the island, one misstep at Tribal Council can blow it all up. So I think that, that's an underrated storytelling aspect in itself.
So what I love, I love listening to these answers from the cast, because casting has always been incredibly fascinating to me, and especially now, Jeff, 50 seasons in. It's interesting to me, there's been a lot of revision. There are a lot of documentaries that are coming out now about old reality shows, and we're looking at them through the lens of 2026, things that came out 20 or 25 years ago. And social media must make it, well, I guess the question is, in the age of social media, where people they kind of know what they want to do and what they want to get out of being on a reality show when they apply for a reality show. That doesn't work at Survivor.
That's death. Yeah.
Yeah, tell me about casting.
Well, I mean, I think it is harder today because we're all so much aware of this curated persona that we want all of our friends to think we have. But it's not who we are. Everybody here knows it. I don't know anybody that has a real account that's really who you are, because it'd probably be pretty boring.
Right.
It's like one of the questions on one of the psych tests is, do you eat differently when no one's around? And our psychologist said, anybody who says no, instantly I know, okay, this whole test is going to be a lie. But I think that the hardest thing when somebody wants to apply to me on Survivor and they ask me, what does it take, is what you just hinted at. It doesn't take anything. You should be able to do this and say, hey, my name is Jeff. I've been a TV host myself, actually, for 25 years, but I'm looking to do something different. I saw your show. I'm a dad. I have 2 kids. They're both in school in New York. I love my dogs probably more than people. I don't know if that makes me weird. I don't really care. You're starting to get to know me pretty fast.
Right.
What doesn't work is, and what you don't need to do is you just don't need to be a movie maker. You don't need to go climb a big mountain unless you're a mountain climber.
Right.
If you're a mountain climber, then climb a mountain and say, look what I can do with my, but this answer of, I think it's really fascinating. Be yourself is so perplexing to all of us. What do you mean? I hear this all the time, Vlad, but what do you mean? I go, isn't that fascinating? I don't know, but I get it. But when somebody is themselves, I mean, I still remember talking to him the first time I talked to him. I kind of remember exactly where you were standing. There was a TV there, and you were telling me how you're going to come home, you're going to watch this show. It's like, I like this kid, man. I like him. Consistent.
Yes.
She's consistent. He's consistent. He's consistent. I said it earlier, they're charms, but they are. If I could list all their ingredients, every single situation, they're the same. Not that that's boring, meaning Kyle is consistently trying to persuade you to do something with his charm. Rizzo's going to play
not just, but just not the, probably not just the Castaways. You,
Me
producers,
as well.
right?
Always, but that's why they're out there. I mean, like he said, you got to answer my question at Tribal. What he's really getting at is, no one does this. But if you were to say, hey, Jeff, I'm going to kind of sit this one out tonight. We would have a really fun conversation on camera.
Yeah.
Where I'd say, let me explain how that's going to work for you. Are you aware of the word hologram? Because but the players we put on, my questions are softballs. They may feel like a blistering fastball down the middle, but to me, I'm lobbing it up, and the great players know as the words are coming out of my mouth, I got to remind Cirie that I am actually loyal, that tonight she needs to know, so they find a way to do it. And what Kyle was worried about, and I know I'm off the answer, but is if he says one wrong word, then Rizzo goes, that's interesting, because Jeff, it sounds like he was just, and now we're on. So it's hard to dodge Tribal because it's going to get you one way or the other unless you're really, really gifted.
So if either of them tried, if anybody on the island said, you know what, that's working for Kyle, I'm going to try to charm people, would that? They're 3 different people.
Yeah.
They have 3 different approaches. Would that work, adopting somebody else's?
I don't know. I think they could probably speak to that.
What do you think?
Isn't it hard when you're not eating to be anybody other than you?
Right. That's it right there. When you lose everything, I mean everything. There's no facilities, bathroom, everything. You are broken down to your core. It's very difficult to remember that there's a camera there and that you want to put on a facade. That works maybe like the first 27 hours. But when you start getting hot, thirsty, dirty, and you haven't slept and you like, everybody's looking at you like a ham sandwich, you cannot put together a thought to say, well, I want to act like Rizzo. Or, just who you are, good or bad, because I love to hear the people that say to me, oh, I got the bad edit. And I'm like,
The bad edit.
That was pretty much you.
That is one of the funniest things when I hear podcasters talking about it all the time. Well, they're giving so-and-so a winner's edit, clearly, and so-and-so is a loser's edit. I've been in the editing, I've been involved in this show every episode. There is no such thing in our edit base as a winner's edit or a loser's edit or a bad edit. We try to be as authentic as we can to who somebody is, which means if you're really funny and telling jokes, you're going to see yourself, maybe not every joke you tell, but you will come off like Rizzo comes off. That's pretty much who Rizzo is.
The minute I met him, I was like, this is
him.
that dude.
Yeah, and I would say, just because I know a lot of people think about applying, there's also the sad truth, which is not everybody is compelling in the way you need to be on Survivor. You could have somebody come in and tell you an unbelievable story about death and destruction, and you can't wait for them to leave. The next person comes in and tells you a story about, what's funny about an empty plastic bottle of water? And you're like, oh my God, tell me something about, there's just that thing. They all have it. Everybody on season 50 has it. But it's that ability to grab you and say, let me tell you a story. And we're not going to start with once upon a time. We're going to start at the end. And you're like, oh my God, okay. Whatever your thing is. So if you do apply and you're not picked, it might be you. I guess that's what
So in preparing for this season 50, how did you think about, because this was high stakes.
Yeah.
This cast
Yes.
had to be,
Dude, yes.
I mean, bro, you must have been,
High
like, what
stakes.
was that like, going through the process of saying, well, who should be on season 50 of Survivor?
We had many iterations, and different people that aren't on the show were on some of those casts. And we started with 200, even though we knew there was no way. And then we got down to 100, and even that was a painful cut. Then we got down to, I think, 80 or 77 or something like that. Then we got down to 50, and at 50, it was brutal.
Brutal, yeah.
And Rizzo's right. We didn't know we were going to end up at 24. He's part of the reason we did, because we said, if somebody on 49 really blows us away, we got to be open to having the bookend of season 1 and 49.
Right.
And if nobody does, then we don't do it. And then we find 2, so then we jumped to 24, and that opened the door for more players. But we spent, probably a year. I mean, the first document I wrote about Survivor 50 was in June of 2023.
Wow.
And just for perspective, our finale's in May of 2026. So that's a 3-year span of working on 50. But you can have the greatest game design in the world. If the people playing aren't compelling, it doesn't matter. You can have a lousy game design or no game design. Like season 1, there's not really a game design.
Yeah.
The people are really interesting, it's interesting. So it's not like they're the definitive 24. There were people we could have probably argued and swapped out, but I will say, on the record, I think as one of the producers, we got it right. We ended up with the right 24, and you're going to see it week after week after week in what I think is the best season ever of Survivor, and it's because of the players.
So, would it be fair to say that this season, in the way that you were thinking about it 3 years ago, is almost a thank you to
100%. First thing I wrote down was celebration, thank you to the fans, and then instantly in the hands of the fans. And I thought, patting myself on the back, I was like, God, that kind of rhymes. It sounds kind of good in the hands of the fans. And then we debated how much power we should give them. At one point, we had more power. We even considered, should they pick the players? And then we thought, no, because that's just not going to work. It's going to get too weird with fandoms that people have. But yeah, that's where the celebrity fans came in, is that once we knew we were going to put it in the hands of the fans, there were a few people over the years that I'm friends with that had said, I'd love to do something on the show, but I'm not going to play. And so then it just kind of incubated for quite a while. And then it was a conversation with Zach Brown in Hawaii when he said, hey man, I can never give you a month, but if you ever need me for a weekend. And I thought, oh my God, maybe we should do it. And then it was Fallon on Fallon's show, and it kind of birthed. He and I had a conversation, and I said, I will if you will. And we shook hands, and I texted him. I said, I am, and you are. And he said, okay. And that's where that started.
So then, that idea of involving fans to help shape the game identity, the game design. I mean, it sounds like it evolved from conversations, but also thoughts that you had in your head.
Well, this is what I hear all the time. I said it earlier, but I'm not kidding. I get stopped all the time. People say, love the show. Don't really like blank, 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 blank. And I say, I get it. I'm not even saying our ideas are right. They're just ideas. If Kyle were running Survivor, it would have a different point of view because he comes from a different life experience. But that's what felt fun. The only potential hiccup was CBS was very clear saying, this is a legal vote. So you don't get to look at the results and go, yeah, let's just do what we want. So
when the fan votes, the fan vote is playing a role, which heightens the unpredictability.
Yes, for us.
Yes.
So early on, like Quigley and I were sort of laying out the season early, and we had A, B, and C. C was gold. C's everything in the world. B is, it'll be okay. A was, what if they really don't want any idols? They want to give the players food. They want to give them supplies. They want to make everything really nice. They don't want to switch. And we kept looking at that going, we can make it work. But fortunately, the votes would be like for 1 week, and I could check them on a little tally, and they were close. I said the percentages to you all. A lot of them were like 53-47. And 10 more votes, I don't know, it could have gone the other way. But I'm very happy with what the fans decided, because ultimately they decided we want to see a game.
All right, we've got questions that came in to us for our panel here. But before we go to that, Jeff, just really quickly, this season's Tribal Council. It's insane, bro. Like, what? Like,
It's our art department is about, I don't know, how many people is it, Duncan? 125. Okay.
125 people. In
And if you came to visit, they all look like they've been on a surfing trip for the last 8 months. And nobody looks like...
He's totally laughing like, yep, that's them.
Well, I mean, he's one of them.
I know.
He looks that way, yeah. But the vibe, when you go through the art department, especially now in Fiji, we took over this little resort, and I say that in quotes. It's great for us, but it's not the kind of resort you're thinking. But there's a little airstrip there, and that's where all of our departments are. Like, that's where the boat engines are, and that's where the unit is, and that's where marine art is. But when you go by there, you just hear all this cool music playing. And you hear things like, you see people painting puzzle pieces and all of this stuff. But Zach and Simo, 2 guys run it. Zach has designed tribal councils Zach Jensen, for the last, I don't know, many years. He too has pretty much carte blanche. I mean, there's an understanding. Like, it needs to fulfill some things, and so we'll talk about it. But he said, this was the one time where he said, I'd really appreciate it if you didn't come look early. I just want you to feel it. And so it was hard. It's season 50, Zach. Yeah. I want to know what it looks like. I've got some responsibility here. But I trusted him, and it helped.
He's like, I trusted him.
But if you could see it in person like they did, it was gigantic. And it's not like a set. If you've ever been to a set, usually it's a fake wall. It's this wall, and then on the backside is a lunch menu and Uber phone numbers, right? That's not us.
Yeah.
On the backside is the backside of Tribal. Everything is hand painted and aged. It takes a long time, but you'll see people, specialty painters out there, just aging it with little bits of paint so that when they walk in, they know it's not real. But there's a feeling, I mean, it could be.
Could be, right.
Right?
That you're transformed into this place, the bad place.
I love you, Cirie. You're still there. All right, these questions are really good. I'm going to start with this one. It's from Erica Landayan and Phoenix Dalto. This is for everyone. All right. Are you able, this is for everyone, so I'm going to start with Kyle. Are you able to turn your survivor brain off, or do you find yourself applying lessons from the game at all times?
Ooh, that's a tough one. When you come back, right, first season, right, 48, I come back, I had to get, I had the opportunity, which I was very excited to get married a month and a half, right?
He's like, I had the opportunity. Bro, come on. You can phrase it better than that.
Yeah. Let me rephrase that. No. But
I'll give you a shot to rephrase that.
I had a very monumental event coming up.
Okay.
And all you're thinking about is the game still, but also the anxiety. I mean, right, I won, but the entirety of the game, you're looking over your shoulder. You're thinking, did I say the right thing? Was this person being truthful with me? And it is hard to turn that off. I think they talked about it a little bit on Winners at War in a scene that always sticks with me when they talk about coming back home to their loved ones. It's really hard to turn it off, especially when you're already an anxious person like me. But slowly you get back to normal and normalcy again, and then it comes back like a wave because somebody might have said something and you heard it the wrong way, and you're like, do I need to text Maggie and be like, is this person actually like betraying me right now? She's like, are you crazy?
Right.
So I think it's hard to turn the brain off, but you get there eventually.
Yeah, Rizzo.
Honestly, I have a different experience from Kyle. For me, it was very much so like once I was done with Survivor, I was like, all right, I'm just go back to normal life. Like it was
Total Gen Z answer.
Yeah. It was
the Gen Z stare. I'm done.
You know, it was Riz got on the island and then Rizzo to normal life. What I will say though, that I think some people don't realize for us players is we don't watch the season like before anyone else. So like after the game is done, you're not anxious. You're like, whatever. Even though we know what happens, but every Wednesday morning, you're like, oh my God, I'm about to be on TV in front of 5 million people. Like, what did I say? What is going to be on the show? So I think that's
more than 5 million.
Yeah. Right. Whatever. But I think then that really creeps into your mind, like, oh my God, like what's going to happen? What's going to be shown? Like, am I going to look silly? Am I going to look good? So I think that's where like your survivor brain turns back on. But for me personally, after the game was over, I just went back to normal life.
Yep. Cirie.
It's kind of the same for me, even though I'm not a Gen Zer. I go back to regular life, but where it does come into play is people's perception of me from the game.
Yeah.
People are always thinking, like, look, what is she doing? She's doing it. Is that the thing they said she does? It's just a report that you asked for. Like, no, I'm not doing anything. I have to
Be crazy because you work at a hospital, right? So I'd be, if you're a patient and you come in, I'd be like, I don't know. I want.
No, I have to tell them, I'm not playing a game here. You guys aren't paying me enough.
I want to be clear, we did not pay you to play.
Oh,
Survivor
absolutely
50.
not.
But there's prize money. Yeah.
Absolutely
Yeah.
not. I would have come for free if there wasn't prize money.
Me too.
50, Jeff? Are you kidding me? I would have cried if you didn't invite me.
That would have been a great,
Yes,
great twist.
no
But
money,
all the
just the
I should
title.
have thought of that and asked every player, do you want to put all the prize money for the winner? And no one else gets anything.
I would have said do it.
Everybody
Yeah,
would
for
have
sure.
said yes.
I would have
For
said do
sure.
it.
Yeah.
Because everybody's going for broke.
You guys all say yes?
Yeah, 100%.
That's really,
Absolutely.
that could be a future.
Well, so it's so funny because Samantha Felon asked Jeff, what are you learning about season 50 that will influence the way you're planning season 51?
You know, this is not like a concrete answer, but I did say to them before the game started, I always go over to Ponderosa where they're staying and basically just say, hey, you know, we're getting close and try to, it's kind of like a locker room sort of speech, just kind of try to pump them up to remind them, this is what you're embarking on. This is the one time in your life, or, you know, the fifth time where your life is taken care of back home. You have no emails. There isn't a work call. You don't have a flat tire. Your dog's being fed, whatever it is. So go out there and just fucking get all you can out of this. But we did say, and I meant it, and I also wanted to prod a little bit, which was, we're going to be here after 50. The question is, will you impact 51 or will we just go on without you? Because if this isn't the greatest season of all time, it will be a disappointment. And they will blame us, and they will blame us for picking you.
Yeah, I remember.
Exactly.
And that was the truth. Like, this is it. You either, and that's why I said, you got to give us everything. It's not me being the demanding coach. It's me being the inspiring coach saying, do you want the greatest season of all time? Then you have to fucking show up and deliver and play. Down to you saying, I'll sign a waiver. I'm not leaving.
Right.
That's what I meant. And what I will say to the 51 players is, the bar now is 50. So if you're not as good at 50, you're going to be a disappointment.
That's right.
And they'll blame us.
Right.
And I'll blame Vlad. Somehow I just
All started
talked
right
this
here. Randy Mazzella asks, this is for you, Jeff, what is, and you're sort of giving hints of this right now, but what is the moment you most remember at Tribal Council that you wanted to shout at a contestant? Do not do that. You are making a big mistake. And how do you hold it in?
Well, the one probably that I just still think about is
Yeah, Eric.
her with Eric. And, you know, Kyle was asking me earlier, he goes, what do you know going into Tribal Council? And I don't know the minutia. I think people think I know the minutia. There's so much minutia. I couldn't possibly keep up with everything, little conversations that are going on. But I will know if, you know, Rizzo had an idol or, you know, whatever, something like that. So in that case, I did get a heads up that, listen, they have been trying to persuade this kid to give up this necklace. He might do it tonight. So that I can just think, so if he does that, then that shifts this or whatever. And I do remember watching them slow play it. And they worked him, and poor Eric, he was a young kid who was, you know. And they didn't care. They didn't care. And I was hard on Eric at the time because I think I was I was hosting from a slightly different point of view, and I didn't have as much empathy for him. I do now. I think he just got played. But that was the moment. But here's the weird thing about Tribal, or anything that happens with us. When I'm talking to them, or when we're at Tribal, or it can be like Christina. We had a conversation a couple of seasons ago with a woman who was missing her mom, and she had this very emotional breakdown out of the blue. She goes, "I want my mom." Yeah. And it was really powerful, and we just talked about it. I'm with them 100%. I am 100% engaged, but when it's over, I don't really remember it. And I've talked to other people. I've talked to improv artists. I've talked to people, even therapists about, I don't know if it happens to you, but when you're so in a moment that you're so focused, an elephant could walk right through and I wouldn't see it, but when it's over, I don't go home and replay it. It's done. We captured it. I can't wait to see what we do with it, but I'm on to the next thing. So you say, like, how do you hide it at Tribal? It's their game. I'm trying to engineer a story. This is misleading. This is real. This isn't, that isn't. I think we got it. We got the climax. I think she's in trouble and she just said a perfect line. She'll never believe when she gets voted out. And I think he's going to be smiling at the end. I think we're good. It's time to vote. I don't know what they're doing. I don't really care. It's their game. I don't mean that dismissively. I mean, like, it's not my game. I'm not playing. Yeah. I say to them, I know we got to wrap, but I say to them at the beginning of every season, their first Tribal, I say, I just want you to know, somebody's torch is going to be snuffed tonight. I know it sucks. When I'm snuffing your torch, I know it sucks. But I also know you wouldn't be here without these stakes. You would not do this. So that's the game. And now it's time to vote. So that they know I'm in it with you, but I'm disconnected emotionally. It's not my game.
Yeah. We do have to wrap, but before we do, just give me one. This is a abbreviated question from Jim Keller, who wants to know what it means to be selected from you heard Jeff, over 750 players who to return for this momentous season. Just give me a quick thought, Kyle, starting with you.
Yeah, I mean, I think we are a representation of people out there who don't get the chance to play, and there are people who resonate with us. So obviously it's an honor to be a part of the show, to be a part of this incredible adventure. And then when you're chosen, you think, what is it about me? So I think it's just about representing and playing 100% for those people who do resonate with you and look up to you.
Yeah, I think Kyle hit head on the nail, whatever. I wanted to be on Survivor to represent my community, represent the Albanian people and super fans, right? Like, I wanted to represent all of us. And the fact that in one short calendar year, I got to play Survivor not once, but twice on the biggest season ever with people I grew up and idolized, and having a panel right here next to Jeff Probst, who I told Jeff on the first day of Survivor 49, thank you so much for babysitting me. My parents owe you a shit ton of money. So it's a dream come true, and God forbid, but if I'm not here 5 years from now or whatever, it's like I got to live my dream and I can die happy.
Cirie.
I think for me, it's like for a person who lives in a world of self-doubt, to get the call for 50 is like a validation that says to me, you are good enough and you are better than you think you are. That's what it meant to me.
And see, as she's saying it, you're right, we're thinking, huh. And with that, the tribe is... I say yes, please, go ahead. No. No, I'm sorry, Vlad. I just want to thank you. It's not easy to host a panel, include everybody, keep to pace, you got people going rap. But I just wanted to say to all of you that I love tonight. I'm so glad that we got to make it work, and that the enthusiasm you see from these three and from me is really genuine. I mean, I made a conscious decision years ago. I don't want to have another show. People start saying, well, you should do something else. No, I want every single idea I have to go into this show, because this is the show I work on. And so all of your passion and showing up here tonight and talking with us and having questions, and some of you apply and some of you don't ever want to apply, it doesn't matter. I just want you to know, we think of it as a triangle. There's the players, there's the producers, and there are the fans. Sometimes fans become players and go back to being fans, but we just think of that triangle. We make the show for the people who watch it. I promise you, we do our best. We don't ever phone anything in, ever. Even a simple little note that somebody's going to find in the jungle, we will read and reread the comma, ellipse. How do we want them to pause? We got to indicate so they can get it fresh and read it quickly, and it'll be great. And then they run it up and they put it in their pants, and so we just care so much, and it means so much that you care and you keep supporting us and you keep letting us try ideas. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, but you always come back, and we really are grateful. I'm speaking on behalf of the entire crew. Jeff Probst has spoken, the tribe has spoken, Survivor 50. Hey, should we take a photo?
Yes. So guys, Jeff has got to run, but he's going to take a picture of all of you.
Let's take a photo this way.
Yeah. So he's going to do a selfie style photo before he jets out of here.
How do we turn down? What happens if we turn the lights down? Oh yeah, there we go. There we go.
Yep.
Oh, we should have done that earlier.
I know, I couldn't see nothing up there.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. We had so much fun.
Are you going to do that with your phone? Or
Sure, I'll just do it. I'll do a selfie. Oh, Rizzo, you do the selfie.
All right. Selfie duties.
Okay.
Yes.
But let's see. Maybe if we.
You guys get.
What if we get down?
There you go.
Where should we be?
That's good.
Oh, can you go all wide as possible?
I think this is the widest it goes. This is pretty good. Let me move my head for you, Jeff. All right.
You guys make a big cheer.
All right.
Awesome.
Thank you, Jeff.
All right, we'll post this so we all have our memory of this. Thank you all.
Thank you, brother.
Okay.